let's make lemonade. Okay. Let's go to work.
That's the signal. Go. 6. It's beautiful. Mother Nature just pissed her pants, dude!
Wake up and hit the ground running. It's The Rush, presented by Willis Auto, with Travis Justice and Ross Peterson bringing you raw, unfiltered, and unapologetic talk about sports, life, and everything else that matters. No filtered, no fluff, just The Rush.
Up and at 'em, everybody. Welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Good to have you along on a Wednesday. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushradio.com and the Rush Radio Android app or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube today, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and give this video a like. Start leaving your comments in the comments section. Follow us on X, Facebook, Instagram, and now TikTok. Good morning, Ross Peterson.
What's up, buddy? Happy Wednesday to you.
What's going on with you, man?
Man, I had one of those weird where I woke up thinking it was Thursday. Like so I don't know. I don't know if that means today's going to be a good day or a bad day or just a weird day.
Well, just look at it this way. You're one day closer to Thursday. So, that's the way it is.
That's the right attitude.
I tell you what, let's kick it off right away because it took one game for me to become a believer. If you
it's basketball
one game
season,
it's basketball season. Yeah, look at Ross. Ross yesterday. It's basketball, schmasketball. I'm not ready for this. We sit down, we watch the Hawks last night, and now we're like, yeah, here we go.
Wait, if that's what basketball season's going to be, sign me up right now.
We talk about culture. You could see a culture change in Iowa basketball last night in one game against Robert Morris. It was a different vibe. It was a different feel. It was fun to watch Ben McCollum walk out of the tunnel onto the court. Did you see how just dialed in and competitive that guy is? And you're just like, oh, there's something different here. And then they tipped off, and you're like, okay, I'll watch this.
Gave all the ties to people. Everybody's in there wearing the gold ties. Loved hearing Jess. Man, we need to reach out to Jess and have him on the show with us because it's just fun to listen to Jess Settles. And then when they were going through the corridor there and they showed the Andre Woolridge, they didn't even. I don't think they meant to do that. I really don't. They just happened to cut in and he went, Andre Woolridge. He was the man.
He was the man. Was the man.
Fun. That was a fun night, dude. From the absolute, from the tip, they go on that 14-point run to start things off, and you nailed it, Trav. It's the defensive intensity. They kept talking about it on most possessions. They would go, man, look at the way this team plays defense. You got a couple of scorers, got a couple of guys that are exciting, got some dudes that can play above the rim, but most importantly, you play defense. And dude, it won't take long. It won't take long before that place is back. I mean, I kept and I don't want to talk a lot about Fran because I don't hate Fran. But that thing of we need to get mad again. Do you remember that whatever it was that Fran was trying to do, it happened last night. And against Robert Morris, I don't anticipate that. That's going to be the height of the energy and the atmosphere and all that. Last night was just fun to see the team go out and play like that. So that was exciting.
Sports is about emotion, and it's not about the win last night because we know they played Robert Morris. We knew Iowa was going to win last night. It wasn't about it, but it was the way they won. You win 101-69. You kick the crap out of a team you're supposed to kick the crap out of. You come out and play ferocious defense. You force 23 turnovers. You come up with 11 steals. You have a number of players, 6 of them in double figures. Bennett Sturtz lives up to the early preseason hype with 19 points. Tavion Banks plays above the rim. There were spectacular dunks last night, which thrilled the crowd, made it entertaining. And first and foremost, after the game, you had Ben McCollum go up to the student section, giving high fives. You had players go into the student section. It is saying one fan at a time, come back to Carver Hawkeye, enjoy this ride, be part of this culture, take us to the next level. There were just a little over 9,000 people there last night. I'm with you, Ross. Once people go, okay, this is something I can watch, the apathy's not there anymore. I can, even if they don't win every game, and they're not going to win every game. It's impossible to expect any team to win every game. But if you can be competitive, play defense like that, and it wasn't just the defense, the ball movement was symmetry last night. And you're like, this is just fun to watch.
It looked like what Drake did to teams. It looked like how Drake went, where did they go, the 29-3 or whatever that was last year? That's what it looked like that. Because it is a lot of those guys, but it's the same coach. It was the same system. It's both sides of the court. That was exciting, man. And you're right, Travis. We, as Hawkeye fans, we should continuously run it through that filter of, that was Robert Morris. This is what, I say it over and over. This is what you're supposed, if you're going to be a really good team, then this is what you've got to do to teams like that. And Robert Morris is not a bad team. Man, we're going to see them against Drake coming up here in just a couple days. Tomorrow?
Tomorrow at the Knapp Center.
So this Robert Morris, don't know yet, but that if you're going to be a really good Big Ten team, that's what you're supposed to do to a team like that, and that was fun to watch. So,
what? And you're right. I'm taking Robert Morris out of the equation. That's why I'm just like, okay, I just wanted to see
a college basketball team. You went out and beat up a college basketball team.
I wanted to see the execution. I wanted to see because when you and maybe Ben McCollum is at a much better advantage than a lot of brand new coaches at new schools. Look at Eric Henderson. Eric Henderson's going to be joining us at 7 o'clock, the Drake head coach, as he talks about the Robert Morris game tomorrow. But, a lot of times, Darren DeVries is now at Indiana. Sure, he got to bring Tucker along, but you're building kind of a roster from scratch. When you're able to take 2-3 players from Drake, especially your leaders in Bennett Sturts and Tavion Banks, it's the players that help the buy-in with new guys who may not have been a part of that structure. And so it happens a little bit faster that people buy in because you're like, oh, well, this guy's pretty darn good. He played for him. I got to believe in it. A lot of coaches don't have that luxury. Sure, they'll take a player or two along, but when you have kind of that nucleus, two of your starters that were part of your team last year, I got to believe that plays dividends in getting buy-in from new guys.
Absolutely, Trev. I mean, Ben McCollum's results speak for themselves, and I think that when you bring guys in, you're going to get buy-in. You recruited them. They believe in you. They watched your system. They know who he is. So I think that steps, that gets the ball rolling. Yes, when you show up and you've got a couple of guys that have been a part of it and go, trust this. Trust this. We're going to do really well if we just trust what this guy tells us. It was fun, man. That was an awesome night. It really did. It got the juices flowing for basketball, and I did tell you, it's going to take till December. I don't get into basketball mode here I am wearing my G League shirt this morning. It's basketball season, baby.
Let's bring up the Bill Fenley approach to, winning people over because, Jan Jensen and the Iowa women don't have a problem bringing people to Carver Hawkeye Arena. Caitlin Clark was a big part of that, but a lot of that carryover, they sold out the other night in their opener against Southern. I was surprised there was only 9,000 people at Carver Hawkeye, but not surprised, if that makes sense.
It's going to take time. That's why I said it. Last night's not the epitome of the energy and all that. It's going to take games like that. It's going to take time before people start to want to go back. Dude, again, Hawkeye fan. And yesterday I'm like, ugh, it's basketball season, really? Can we just focus on the fact that this football team might be in the college football playoff poll and where they're going to be and what could happen these next couple weeks with football because some magic could happen there? And then turned on that game and I'm like, whoa. Haven't seen a Hawkeye team look like this on the basketball court for a long time, especially on the defensive end like that. We've had scorers. We've had guys that could fill it up. You've had fun offensive moments with in the last decade of Hawkeye basketball. Nothing like what we saw last night on the defensive end and that kind of both ends. And again, Same thing I said about Iowa State the other night. The other nice thing is you get to get guys off the bench. How many Hawkeyes played last night? I had the box score up in front of me here, Trav.
Every one of them played, and all but one played double-digit minutes. All but one played double-digit minutes, which is impressive. I mean, you had one guy that played like 3 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yeah, Matty. Joey Matty played 4 minutes. Still got a bucket.
Yeah, and then everybody else was 10 minutes or above. I mean, that's good playing time. Bennett Sturts played, 35 minutes? I kept thinking, for how hard Bennett Sturts plays, I was like, man, take him out. Take him out. I mean, you've got a big enough lead. You don't need to keep playing the guy. Don't run the risk of getting him hurt. But Bennett Sturts could be a guy that plays 35 to 40 minutes every single night, regardless of who they're playing. That's his floor general.
Patrick has found his favorite stat from the box score. He said, "What did Iowa have? 11 steals last night? When was the last
11
time
steals.
They had 11 steals last night.
Forced 23 turnovers. I mean, that's defense right there.
Yeah.
That's defense. And the ability to entertain on offense. 3-pointers are great, but there were some dunks last night. I'm like, well, yeah, this gets them fired up. But after the game, you know, Ben McCollum went and did the high five with the student section, and the players did the same thing. Never lose that passion, meaning don't let it be a 1 or 2 year thing. Always embrace that crowd. When you get to be to where you want to be, always remember where it's. I think Bill Fenley does a good job of that. I think TJ does a good job of that.
Agreed. And there are some coaches that nail that. But Trav, he's going to have to see some response.
Yeah, 100%.
Ben McCollum's going to have to see more people showing up. He's going to when Big Ten play starts to roll around, that place, if it's not sold out, then I think that. And I'm not saying he'll stop engaging with the fans. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that attitude last night in the post game, that attitude that you saw of like, hey, we need you, we need you. If Hawkeye fans don't respond, and I think they will. I really do think they will. But I'm just saying that's an important element to keep him fired up and going and all that. So, fun night, man. That was awesome to see.
What did you think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they've redone the seating for the student section, right?
Yeah.
It looks more like a student section.
Yeah. Good way to put it.
I mean,
you don't have 40 feet of floor behind the basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Anytime you can get students closer to the floor, anytime you get people closer to the floor, it adds to an atmosphere. I like that.
I don't want to agree with people. I don't want to agree with people, okay? Because in the NBA, you've got people on the floor. But having the celebrity sitting next to the bench that doesn't do anything for me. Having the students, that's where the energy comes from. Because again, man, Carver Hawkeye Arena is famous for the blue hairs knitting in the crowd. Tyler just rolled it. As I said it, Tyler writes old knitters into the comments there. That's what it's known for. And it's going to take time to shake that reputation. It's going to take, I think it will. Maybe it'll happen overnight. Maybe it'll happen by the end of the season. ESPN will be talking about the amazing environment inside of Carver Hawkeye Arena. And people here in the state will go, they're talking about the old knitters.
Well, Carver Hawkeye's unique. And what I mean is it can be a tremendous home court advantage, or it can be a cavern, right? I mean,
you're right. When it's empty, it's quiet and
it's bad.
Echoes. Yeah,
yes.
You're right.
But I do believe, Ross, that it takes the fans, obviously, to build. But if you can get the students passionate, get the students in there, it starts with that. Once you become there, then people go, oh, this is a fun atmosphere. Because students make it fun. Students are not your typical fans. They're there to have fun, be rowdy, be disruptive, root on their team. And for years, we saw students not go to games. So if you can get the student section filled up, if you can make that a place to be, Iowa State does a great job of that. Kansas does a great job of that. Duke does a great job of that. And I'm not comparing Iowa basketball to Duke or Kansas right now. But what I'm saying is you want it to be the place to be seen if you're a student. You want students going, oh, I'm going to the game tonight, and I've got to get in. I've got to find a way to get into that game.
Yeah, and get in the front rows or get excited and get the energy level starts to build before a game. It's been a long time since that happened at Carver. So fun, man. That was a fun night.
Again, it's one game. It's Robert Morris. We are realists when it comes to this, but it was a good first taste of sugar. It was a first good taste of sugar. You're like, I want another piece of this. I want another piece of this candy.
Travis, here again, one of my favorite words when we talk about this stuff. It exceeded my expectation. Robert Morris was a tournament team last year. The spread on this game was like 19, something like that. So I expected the Hawkeyes to win. I thought that it would be. I thought that I would see an improvement, but there was still a part of me that was like, it's Hawkeye basketball, and how good are they really? And again, I said it yesterday. I'm in football mode. I really am more concerned about the college football playoff poll, which we'll get to, I'm sure. But I had a lot more fun in that first couple of minutes, and I do think the start of it, the way that, and maybe that was part of what Ben McCollum had talked to the team about. I mean, really, maybe he went out and said, we have to have an energetic start. We got to come out of the locker room firing. And that was neat to see. So
he looked at home, right? I mean, you could tell.
Yeah.
I mean, you could tell he loves being a Hawkeye.
What a great way to put it, Travis. That did not look like a coach coaching his first game for a university. And I don't know what I mean by that, but it didn't look like a guy coaching his first game. That was fun.
You know, the interesting part is, before we had Ben McCollum on the show, and he's been on the show many times, and he'll be on again, is that I didn't quite understand him, right? I always thought, just watching him from afar his first couple of months at Drake, he's kind of aloof, very, very competitive. Then he came on the show, and we got a little bit of his humor. I don't know if you watched very closely, but they had a lot of interviews from him. I think they were from Big Ten Media Day. He's fiercely competitive. There's no doubt about that. But he's got a really good sense of humor. He makes fun of himself. Last night he was like, I always wanted to be a Hawkeye. He goes, I wanted to go to Iowa and play basketball, but then I didn't hit 6 foot, and that was kind of a problem. And when you can have a little self-deprecation, that kind of humanizes you a little bit. And his sense of humor came out during those kind of interview breaks. I'm like, he's showing himself.
Trav, when we've talked to Ben McCollum, we have seen that guy.
Yes.
We've seen the self-deprecating kind of aw shucks guy, right? And I remember the first time we talked to him, and we got done with that conversation when he was at Drake. And I remember people reaching out to me and saying, hey, you guys don't, he's playing coy. He's playing coy on the air because privately, he's got the fire. Privately, he's got a little bit of ego, which you have to have.
You have to have. I don't know a coach that doesn't have an ego.
I had people reach out and say, you're falling for it. You're falling for it. The guy has a fire. The guy's got a competitive drive that he doesn't show when he's doing that aw shucks routine. And I think that's what he's very smart in dabbling that self-deprecation into the public eye. But behind the scenes, he's got that fire. You know who else I think, maybe not as self-deprecating, but we hear over and over that we get a different public Kirk Ference than there is privately. We get a different Kirk Ference that talks to the media than when the locker room door shuts. That, the guy that, because you talk to players and you go, man, this guy seems like such a gentleman. Does he ever cuss? And players go, does he ever cuss?
It's like we always got the question, do you think Gary Dolphin cusses? We're like, oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. If you think we cuss on here.
We should reach out to Dolph, too. Jess is one I want to have on because he just is, I've always been a huge Jess Settles fan. So last night listening to that reminded me.
I want to give credit where credit's due because I think Chris Hassel had a good tweet last night. Ladies and gentlemen, Iowa's Kirk Ference. And there's a little bit of truth to that, right?
I think he said college basketball's Kirk
Ference.
I saw that same thing. Yeah.
But there's, and I even see Signetti now because I've been watching his, like, they YouTube his radio show and stuff. And he's got a little, I mean, we always looked at him and go, Google me. And we were like, God, what a jerk. He's just overly competitive. But he's got a little dry sense of humor where he drops and becomes a little vulnerable, and you kind of see through it a little bit and go, oh, you do have a sense of humor. You are human. That's all we want. We want you to be fiercely competitive, but we want you to be a little human as well. And I mean, Ben McCollum has shown that. Kurt Cignetti is showing that. But again, I don't want to blow this up more than it is. I just think the future, whether that's this year and CBSSports.com has them an NCAA tournament team, or next year or the following year, I just think we can look forward to a team that is going to play defense.
Trav, let's have that conversation real quick. After last night, now, just be completely honest. What is your expectation for this Hawkeye basketball season?
I know
it's one game and it's Robert Morris. Away.
I would say this, even in today's day and age, Ross, in basketball, I have no reason not to think this team should not go to the NCAA tournament.
Amen.
And the truth is, this is the University of Iowa. And I'd say the same thing about Iowa State, because Iowa State's got a strong basketball tradition, very strong basketball. Iowa State should be in the NCAA tournament every year, regardless of who the coach is.
Yep. If you don't make the NCAA tournament, it should be a disappointment.
Yes.
For both of these schools. And I even think year one, when you've turned this roster over in 2025, when especially in basketball, when you need a couple of dudes, you don't need to have 9. You need a couple of really good Big Ten players, NCAA players, to make the NCAA tournament. And again, when you beat a team that was in the tournament last year by 32 or whatever last night's total ended up being, I think that's fair. I would have answered the question the same way. My answer to my question would have been they should make the NCAA tournament.
You know, some people in the chat right now are going Sweet 16. I'm going to pump the brakes at the Sweet 16. Slow down. How about get to the tournament and get one win? Just get one win in the tournament. I'd be happy with that. When you start getting to the Sweet 16, especially the Elite 8, a lot of things have to happen. There's luck involved. I know that sounds crazy to say, but I'm not going to say Sweet 16. All I'm going to say is make the field. Even if you're in the play-in game, I would be happy with that, right? I would be totally. I'll take it. I'll take it.
I thought you said you wanted them to make the NCAA tournament.
That's fair. At least they'd be playing in Dayton, and they'd be on TV with an NCAA tournament court.
Stop it.
I'm justifying it to myself. But I would still say it's a playing game. I would still say it was a playing game.
I love Tom. This could be the first Sweet 16 in high definition.
Boy, I saw people.
Good comment, Tom.
I saw people are never happy. You know, Drake was on YouTube the other day on the Field of 68. And the Field of 68 broadcast those for free.
The Field of 68. Why are you falling for this stuff?
No. That's a company. That's Goodman's company. The Field of 68 is Goodman's company where they produce those games and put them on YouTube. And people were mad because, you know, the streams went down, the quality wasn't that good, and they were just like, well, you know, what a rinky-dink production. And I kind of felt sorry for them because they're like, hey, we have 6 employees. We're just trying to do something here. And do you think we wanted the stream to go down? No, but we tried, you know. And I guess when you try something, I mean, we tried something here.
It takes some time.
Yes.
It takes time to convert people over, to get the funds to hire a Justin to do your social media stuff.
Yeah.
It takes some time. I forgot. Yeah, we had Jeff on talking about that Field of 68 thing. Sorry.
But no, it's just like, hey, it's amazing. People will watch 8 million bad videos on YouTube, death scrolling, and stuff like that. But if the production's not up to their CBS or ESPN or NBC standards, like, this is crap. Well, at least they're trying. So they had 3 cameras instead of 6 or 7, you know. Yeah. They weren't high definition. Who cares? I got to watch Drake play. I was happy about that. I just turned the sound down and watched. I just know when I watch something on a stream, and Kyle Peterson, who's been on the show, he's with ESPN, he runs D1Baseball.com. He told me the first time they put out a baseball tournament in Houston, right? And LSU was in this baseball tournament. They were not prepared from a server standpoint. We're like, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know how many people were going to pay for the stream, all this stuff. All of a sudden, it crashed, right? It is absolutely crashed. And that's the danger of streaming if you don't have the power of Netflix or ESPN or some of these big things. If you do something organically in a kind of a smaller production, you run the risk of, people are actually going to watch this. It's bigger than what we thought it was. So, now a lot of we got one up there that says, "Hey, it's Robert Morris, guys. Pump your brakes." We've pumped our brakes. We're not making a bigger deal over the win over Robert Morris. What we're saying is the way they played last night gave us something to look forward to.
You're supposed to beat a team like that.
Yes.
It's the same thing I would say whenever a Power 5 team plays. They're from the Horizon League. When you play a team from the Horizon League, if you're going to be a big-time performer, you better beat a team like that handily. And that's what they did, and it was great.
Hey, Ross, I noticed Audrey came into the room earlier. I've got something for you to do with Audrey.
Okay.
You ready for this? Get ready for this, folks. And this is for everybody. Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Company wants you to experience the magic of the season, and the Atlantic Coca-Cola Holiday Caravan is rolling into central Iowa. So this is a big old semi. Big old Coca-Cola semi. It's going to be coming to central Iowa, and since 1997, the iconic caravan has been a beloved tradition across the U.S., and it's now time for central Iowa to enjoy. Attendees will get photos with Santa, create memories that last a lifetime, free holiday portraits, perfect for family celebrations. It arrives on November 26th. It's going to be at the District in Ankeny. On Friday the 28th, it's going to be at the Urbandale in the Hy-Vee Urbandale. And then on Saturday it's going to be at the Hy-Vee. It's going to be the holiday.
You're reading this like Bruno, dude. Are you okay?
Thank you. You didn't have to point that out, but I'm glad you did. At the Hy-Vee Holiday Parade, then at the Walmart in Grimes, Walmart in Altoona, and the Walmart in Ankeny. So the Atlantic Coca-Cola Bottling Coca-Cola Holiday Caravan coming to central Iowa. Hey, I tried.
You smell
tried.
like toast? You smell
I
toast?
tried.
Does your arm hurt right now?
Why do you got to be so mean to me?
Yeah, I'm just having fun. I love you. I love you, buddy.
Eric Henderson, head coach of the Drake Bulldogs, going to join us at 7 o'clock. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
'Tis the season to share great taste. Grab a refreshing Coca-Cola and make every moment a celebration. Locally made, nationally loved, Coca-Cola is the real deal when it comes to holiday cheer. Whether you're kicking back after the game or hosting the crew, nothing hits like that crisp, fizzy taste. Make this season yours. Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola today.
With over 260 beers on tap, El Bait Shop isn't just another craft beer bar. It's the best. Beer lovers know. El Bait Shop, 200 Southwest 2nd, Des Moines.
There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and a crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
My name's Gary Prosnell, and I'm a residential home mortgage banker for Northwest Bank in Des Moines Metro Market. I've been financing people's homes for over 25 years, and I'm an expert in financing VA loans, FHA loans, IFA loans, and new construction homes. This is my cat Norm. Norm knows football, but he doesn't know mortgage. And that's where I come in. There are a lot of Tom, Dick, and Norms out there doing loans. So don't just trust anyone with your home loan. I'm your local, trusted, experienced expert.
Loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
November's here, and that means Thanksgiving's right around the corner. And here at Willis, we are thankful for you, our guests, for entrusting us with your vehicle and service needs. The holiday season means travel, and that means extra miles on your car that can cause wear and tear. Save that for your pants after all that turkey. And while we can't fix your slacks, we can make sure your car's in tip-top shape. So come on down to Willis for 10% off an oil change. Give us a call or schedule online at LandRoverDesMoines.com.
Get ready for a gemtastic day at Fiscus Jewelers. Join us Saturday, November 22nd from 9 to 3 for a gem trunk show you won't want to miss. It's the perfect time to pick up your favorite gemstone and create a custom piece for the holidays. Plus, take $250 off a custom design for this day only. We'll have fun giveaways throughout the day. So if you're looking for that perfect gem, we've got you covered. It's a gemtastic show like no other. Fiscus Jewelers, your jeweler for life.
The best bread is made from scratch, freshly baked with locally sourced ingredients and love. At Big Sky Bakery, we take great pride in our delicious products. We know you'll enjoy them almost as much as we enjoy baking them. Find us at the downtown Des Moines Farmers Market every Saturday.
Looking for the perfect golf escape? Experience links-style golf right here in Ames at Coldwater Golf Links. With rolling fairways, large greens, and unique routing, it's golf the way it's meant to be played. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, you'll love our course's welcoming atmosphere and friendly staff. Grab your clubs, book a tee time, and make every round unforgettable. Coldwater Golf Links, where great golf leads to great memories. Visit coldwatergolf.com to book your round today.
Back to the rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive, 515-517-2303. Let's go to the phones. That's where Matthew is. Matthew, welcome to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. What's going on?
Oh, hey, thanks for getting me on. Sorry to switch topics, but I wanted to ask this question before this weekend, a game with the Oregon game coming up. What do you think Ference has done a better job in the first 10 years of his career or the last 10 years of his career?
Oh, what a great question, Matthew. What a great question. Man, that's because it's two totally different jobs. We've talked about this on the air, and I hate to just to take this from you, Trav, but
no, go ahead.
We've talked about this, about how it's two different skill sets to build a program and maintain a program. And that's oftentimes why you see teams or schools have to make a coaching change after things have bottomed out and they got somebody that could rebuild it. Sometimes it takes a different guy to take it to a new level. And I don't want to overstate it like Kirk Ference has taken this team to the mountaintop or anything like that. There's no national titles or college football playoffs to speak of. But he definitely, that's a great question, because the first 10 years, that's a really difficult job. You've got to come in, you got to replace a legend, you got to fix everything, you got to go through some really bad years and maintain that progress, build the culture that he's built there. And then these last 10 years to maintain it, to keep that team. And there have been bad years in the last 10 years. You've had disappointments, no doubt about it. You've also had 10-win seasons. That's a good question. Matthew, how have you thought about it more? Because this is have you thought about it more? What's your answer to your question?
Oh, I'm kind of torn between the two because like the first 10 years, if you think about it, he had a couple bad years, but he got the program going. And then he probably had his best 3 years in that first 10 years, but then it fell off at the end of that 10 years a little bit, when before Stanzi was the quarterback. So, and then the last 10 years, I think I was like one of only like a handful of teams that have won 8 games, which, I mean, it's 8 games, but there's like 5 teams that have done that, for the last 10, average that for the last 10 years. So it's kind of like, and he's had some good seasons in the last 10 years too, like, undefeated season, a couple West championships. So it's something I've been thinking about. I'm like kind of torn between the two for sure.
Good question, Matthew.
Really good question, Matthew. That's a fun one to think about. And I think you could make an argument for both of them, because I do think, and I almost said the first 10 years is a tougher job, but I stopped myself from saying that because they're different jobs. They really are. And that's something that Kirk Ference does deserve. That longevity that we talk about with Kirk Ference, that's the unspoken part of that longevity conversation. The unspoken part is, man, it's hard to do both of those things. It's hard to keep fan base, and he hasn't kept a fan base happy for all 25 years he's been there. He hasn't. But for the most part, he's kept the fan base happy for 25 years.
I'll give you my answer, and my answer is I think his first 10 years. And hear me out. He took a cupboard that was absolutely bare, and people need to understand how bare the cupboard was, and that's back in the day and age when you got a little more time to build a program. People usually aren't going to be that patient. But you built it into a national contender that was well-rounded offensively, special teams, and defensively. The last 10 years, yes, they've been competitive. They've won their 8 games, but they have not been good offensively. For the most part of that 10 years, they've been inept offensively. I got to take recency bias out of it, and that's this year's offense, right? So, because last year's offense wasn't anything to write home about. Lord knows that the offense under Brian Ferentz wasn't anything to write home about. You thought the only way that team was going to get a win is if they forced turnovers or the defense had a pick six or the special teams ran a kickoff or a punt return back. You didn't have that feeling in those first 10 years. You thought, okay, this team is going to be competitive. It's got a well-balanced offense. It had playmakers, and they dominated on defense and special teams. I'm not taking away from the 8 wins a year, but also let's go back in how many years has it been since they've beaten a team ranked in the top 10? How long has it been since they beat a team in the top 25? Again, you can be successful, but if you're looking at what was the best coaching and probably the best time of the Ferentz era, I'm going to the first 10 years. Did I sell you?
I like that. No. And Trav,
That's a good point.
While you were saying that, I was trying to think in my head about a team that we've seen that has, because again, it was a different era. 1999 was a way different time than where we're at right now. And I do think that you had a longer leash at that time. And I was trying to think of teams that we've seen do that. I was trying to think of a program, not in the last 20 years, but when was the last time we saw a team that was bad and then got good? And how long did that take them, right? And
let's use Bill Snyder in Kansas State back in the late 80s. I mean, it took a while. Now, he did it a different way. He scheduled cream puffs just to get wins, to get confidence, but then he used the JUCO route, and he was the JUCO master. I'm sure there's other teams that we could.
The one that popped in my head that I Googled was Ole Miss. And, back around the time that Kirk Ferentz took over the Iowa program, Ole Miss was not a very good football team, and they hired a great coach in Ed Orgeron. He got 3 years at Ole Miss. He didn't turn. I mean, Ed Orgeron and not quite the same era, but he was 2005, 2006, 2007 at Ole Miss. He won 3, 4, and 3. Went 3-8, 4-8, and then 3-9, and his last year went 0-8 in the SEC.
A better example for Ole Miss might be Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze,
who came in, took over after. So Houston Nutt comes in. He wins 9 games his first year, and by year 4, he wins 2.
Yeah.
And Hugh Freeze takes over, and Hugh Freeze does kind of the same thing. He wins 7, 8, 9, 10, and then goes 5 and 7 and gets bounced.
Well, he called hookers. That was the problem that Hugh Freeze ran into. It's always a vice with Hugh Freeze. Hookers and call girls at Ole Miss, or escort services, and golf at Auburn. I mean, there are vices that seem to trip Hugh Freeze up. Matthew, thanks for the phone call, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's the line from Kingpin when he's bowling against the priest, and they go, "Boy, Father, I didn't take you to be a gambler," and he says, "Gambling is my only vice," as he grabs the drink from the girl's tray and smacks her ass.
I'm going to have to watch Kingpin again. I've watched it, but I need to go back and rewatch Kingpin to appreciate the one-liners and the subtleties that take place during Kingpin.
And I would argue possibly one of Bill Murray's best roles. Bill Murray as oh my gosh, Ernie McCracken. Oh, dude, that's a fantastic role. Fantastic. He's got so many great lines in that movie.
We don't usually encourage people to pick up a Des Moines Register because, well, you got to pay for it. And but you might want to pick up a Des Moines Register today because in a news story, Ross Peterson is quoted. Ross Peterson made the paper. Remember in the old days, if you made the paper, your mom would clip out the I mean,
I don't think mom and dad asked me not to do this. I don't think he's going to be clipping it.
When my mom died, we were going through her stuff and all the newspaper clippings. My brothers had to feel bad because there were just news clippings about me, and all my television stuff and everything that I'd done in college. I mean, she clipped out everything, and I'm like, you got anything, Todd? You got anything, Nick? You got anything, Adam? There was nothing. But there was a lot about me. I said, this is why I was the favorite, guys. This is why you three hate me.
Well,
and
there
Mom,
were other reasons.
and Mom loved me the most. No, I'm joking, by the way. But she did have all these clippings. But anytime your name was in the paper, she'd clip it out. Well, Ross's name is in the paper this morning.
And you were the favorite. Let's not. You were Mom's favorite.
At one point, I was. Okay. I don't think towards the end.
The others had won back some favor. Okay.
Well, because it came from my separation thing, where I kind of drew a line of there needs to be boundaries and stuff. But at the end, she did trust me enough to be the executor of the will, and I've executed that to perfection. But you are in the Des Moines Register this morning because the Des Moines bond vote passed overwhelmingly last night. They got over 70% of the vote, which is an impressive win for a bond.
It is.
And they quoted you. You were the spokesman for the opposition, should we say. I think
Travis, I kind of became the unofficial.
Did.
There was no, and that was Samantha Hernandez called me last night. She had actually called me on Monday night and said, hey, I've been looking for people that there's no organized no side of this. And I'm looking for people that are willing to speak about being a no vote. Would you be willing to do that? And I said, sure. I'll tell you what I'm thinking. So she asked me on Monday night, when the vote gets over on Tuesday night, can I call you? And dude, I was asleep. It was like 10:15. And I had one of those moments where I kind of woke up and for some reason grabbed the phone to see what time it was. I noticed a couple of missed calls by just a few minutes. So I called her back, and I had a conversation with her while I was yawning into the phone. So I haven't read it, and I don't have a Register subscription, so I can't read it. What can you tell me? What I talked to her for about 10 minutes, and I know that she probably was only able to use one sentence or two from what I said. Can you tell me what she quoted me?
The one quote I remember is that I retained in my reading was that, you might have, if the Ian Roberts stuff hadn't come about, may have voted for it because he was a guy you kind of believed in, right?
Yes. I'm glad she at least got that. Yeah.
And then I think there was one that was...
that it always is about Ian Roberts, man. That's the clicky stuff. And I don't think she was going for clicky because it's not the headline by any stretch. But
And then I think there was one about, I hope with this that education actually gets better. It's not about a building, right? And it was interesting. I think the superintendent had a quote say, we're going to be transparent with this bond. We're going to let everybody know where the money goes. It's not about the money. It is education getting better? I was thinking about you yesterday, Ross. I did a podcast yesterday because we brought in a guest speaker to MCO Construction. His name's Jamie Cassip. And Jamie Cassip, you've probably never heard the name, but he's a big deal. He was, starting in 2005, the chief education evangelist for Google. And so he was the one that went door to door to universities and the K-12 space to bring like Chromebooks into the education space and how to utilize that in an education way. And we were having these deep talks about education yesterday, and I'm like, Ross should be here for this. And
I loved it.
And not saying that everything, I agreed with everything, because everybody, and you shouldn't agree 100% with everybody, right? I mean, you should go, okay, I can see where you're coming from. I don't know if I totally buy into it. But I was thinking the Des Moines Public Schools should reach out to Jamie Cassip, who and just get his thoughts on education, because you're talking about a tech guy. But what I liked about it, he goes, I want everybody to know what I'm doing here. He goes, I have a notebook and I've handwritten everything. I don't use tech for everything, right? And there was just exactly, mine are branded, but it's just because I like throwing
Mine's
money
from a
away.
lender.
Yeah, I like that. But it was just an interesting take on education from a guy who's seen it on a massive, massive scale. And I'm like, this is somebody you should bring in just to have a conversation with, who, and he was talking about jobs. He goes, for the longest time, we told kids, go learn how to code. Go learn how to code. He goes, don't learn how to code. Those jobs are gone. You don't need to code anymore.
Yeah.
And he was so excited. He goes, I asked my daughter what she wanted to be when she grew up. She's like 16 years old. She goes, I want to be a hairdresser. He goes, great, because that job's not going away. He goes, I want you to be a hairdresser, but what I want you to do is go get a 4-year degree, learn how to run a business, and not just be a hairdresser, but own the business to where you can be a hairdresser and have more salons. I mean, it was just an interesting way of looking at education. And I got a podcast coming up with him later on. It's open to the public through MCL Construction. But I was thinking about you yesterday, and I thought Ross would have really enjoyed this conversation.
I would have liked that. That's all really good stuff, man. Everything that you just said there, that's really smart. But yeah, listen, I was an outspoken critic of the bond referendum, and I did go and vote no yesterday. I also am, I hope everybody understands, man, I've had to explain this to way more people than I feared I would have to. I love Des Moines Public Schools. I really do. We had that really great conversation with my buddy Chad, who called in last week, and I've had a lot of great conversations with people that disagreed with me, and when they walk away from that conversation, usually going, I get it now, Ross. We still disagree, but man, we agree on 95% of the issues, which is usually politics. But we focus on those 5% when the zipper starts to separate. Right at the top, we focus on that little area where, we disagree here. Well, let's fight, and we all want better schools. I think most people agree that public schools are really important to a community. It's how we get to improving the schools. My comment on Dr. Roberts, and I'm not sure if I talked about this yesterday on the show or not, so I apologize if I'm repeating the same things. My comments on Dr. Roberts needed a little bit more nuance than I'm sure Samantha could give in a couple of lines. And that is this. I was fooled by this guy also. I'd met him a couple of times, and I was very impressed by him, very impressed. And so, and I tried to explain this to Samantha. There was this series of information that happened that triggered me to go, this is not the time. One of them was the report that came out a week before Ian Roberts was arrested that said 12 of the Des Moines Public Schools were considered underperforming, including my dear East High School. And the graduation rates are at 72% when the state and national average are at 88%. And then you had the Ian Roberts situation. So those things led me to believe now is not the time to throw money at this thing. Now is the time for accountability. Now is the time to stop the machine and say, what direction are we moving? How and why are we moving in this direction? Okay? Now, I'm not mad at all. I'm not mad at all that the bond referendum passed. And I swear to you, I really, really hope that this is what stems that tide. And they are able to start improving those graduation rates, truly improve the graduation rates, not just force these kids through that don't deserve to be passed. But there's so many stories within this district that are alarming. And so if they can if this money is enough to stem that tide and turn this giant cruise ship around, man, I hope that's what it takes. I hope that's what it is. And I am pulling for the people in charge. I truly am, that this will be enough to get it going in the right direction. I've said this over and over too. I'm not just a homeowner in Des Moines. I don't just have a son that's a sophomore in the system. I'm also a realtor. I need these home values I need this district to be a more attractive district. So I'm not angry that it passed. I'm not angry at people that voted yes. I'm not screaming about how dumb they are or uneducated or anything like that. People went out and shared their opinions just like I did at the polling place. Trust me, this ain't the first time I've supported the wrong side of an election, okay? Most of the time, I'm on the losing side of stuff. I told you yesterday, I haven't voted for a president. I haven't voted for the person that won president maybe in my lifetime. I don't know if I've supported the right person.
The contrarian that is Ross Peterson. I do have a question for you about the election yesterday, and it has to do with Pleasant Hill.
Okay. Yeah.
A guy won an election in Pleasant Hill by the name of Andrew Birch, and he looks like Tommy. Is there any relation there? I'm just curious because I saw the picture of him. I'm like, he's got the Brewer's beard. I'm like, well, that kind of looks like Tommy. He's got the same last name. I go, is that a brother? Is that a cousin?
Did you text Tommy and ask him?
No, I didn't do that. I wanted to ask you.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. And I didn't. And again, man, I've been out of Pleasant Hill politics for 30 years. So.
God, is there politics in Pleasant Hill?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
My dad was in the city council in Pleasant Hill. He was interim mayor for a while, ran for Polk County supervisor.
Wow.
Yeah, there's politics in Pleasant Hill. Got bad news. There's politics everywhere.
Yes, there is. There's politics at your work. So there you go. Do you believe in... Are you superstitious at all? Do you believe in, like, signs?
I'm not until I am.
Okay. I'm just going to run this by you because when my mom passed away, we were cleaning out her kitchen, and we found... You know what Carol syrup is? Dark Carol syrup.
Never heard that. Is it from Carroll, Iowa?
No, it's Karol. You can make like caramel popcorn and stuff with it. But my mom always had it. It's just this really sweet, basically corn syrup, right? But it was kind of addicting when I was a kid. But she had a full bottle that was never opened. And we're like, do we throw this away? What do we do with it? And we're like, hey, Abigail, do you want this bottle of Carol syrup? She goes, I've never had it, but I'll take it. I go, okay, whatever. She goes, I don't ever know what I'm going to do with Carol syrup. Well, the baby, Sutton, is extremely constipated right now. The little 3-month-old can't poop. And they call the doctor and like, hey, we've got some serious constipation problems. And out of nowhere, the doctor says, hey, add a little Carol syrup to the bottle. And we're like, is my mom hanging around? I know that, or am I just as somebody who's sentimental, you want to believe in that divine intervention, or you want to believe that somebody's watching over you, that you put that together. Or you look for signs, and we were all like, oh my God, mom's watching over. I mean, we were going to throw out this bottle of syrup, and for some reason we kept it, and we give it to Abigail, who's never had it. She goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. And then the doctor says, put some Carol syrup in the formula.
Never
Am I
even
crazy?
heard of it. No, you're not crazy. I mean,
I'm sorry. And people are crazy. There's no L, Travis. There's only Caro. So it's Karo.
Caro syrup.
Caro syrup.
I've never heard of.
Yeah.
Am I crazy? Do I need to look at the bottle to see if I know what Caro syrup
if you look at
is?
the bottle, you might be able to go, oh, okay, I've seen that before. I've seen that sitting on store shelves before. Maybe not. I mean, it is corn syrup. It is not healthy at all. But it tastes really, really, really good on waffles and pancakes.
Not healthy. Just
apparently, it makes you poop, though. I mean, apparently, it eases up the constipation.
Huh. It's a Caro syrup is a syrup made from the starch of. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that kind of rings a bell. It's funny, though, because my pictures, when I Google it, the pictures are a clear syrup. There's a clear bottle and a really dark bottle.
It's the dark bottle,
the dark ones.
The dark one, yeah.
When my grandma passed away up at the farm, she had this stuff called drawing salve. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
Drawing salve? I've heard of a salve, like Neosporin I'd call a salve, right?
Yeah. It was like a wax.
Okay.
My grandma had this magic elixir, dude. When you got a splinter, and so what happened when Grandma died, Mom actually grabbed this jar of wax, and it had handwritten on the jar, drawing salve. And I remember this, whenever we got a splinter, Mom would put a little tiny dab of this stuff, this magic stuff, this magic wax on the splinter, put a Band-Aid over it, and the next day when you took the Band-Aid off, the splinter had been pulled out of the skin. Yeah. Yeah, this wax would somehow pull the splinter out. Now, I have an uncle that's a legitimate genius. The guy is crazy smart. And so I asked him one time, I was like, hey, Uncle Bob, when Grandma passed away, Mom took this drawing salve. And he was like, oh, I remember that. Yeah, he's from Wisconsin, so it sounded more like, oh, yeah.
Oh, don't you know, Larry? Yeah, Larry.
But he was like, I know what you're talking about. And I said, what was that stuff? And he's like, I don't know. My genius uncle, he's one of these guys that can take a bite of food and tell you every ingredient in that dish and how they prepared it. You know
That's
what I mean?
a palate. That's a good palate right there.
His brain's on a different level. And he was like, I never knew what that was. So I'm wondering if anybody else, we got a pretty wide audience here.
We got smart people.
Has heard of that or what? And I don't know why. For some reason, the Caro syrup and that story reminded me of all of that happened in my life.
So do you believe my mom is hanging out in Water Valley, Mississippi, looking over her great-grandchild? Or
Yes.
do I just... Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
What
you
I
asked if
needed
I
to
was
hear.
superstitious, and I said, maybe, did you see Dusty's comment? And he said, take him fishing. He's superstitious.
515-517-2303. Eric Henderson, head coach of the Drake Bulldogs, scheduled to join us next. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
The Rush Radio is now on the free TuneIn app, allowing you to enjoy the show on Apple products and Android Auto. Download the free TuneIn app and search The Rush Radio to take Travis and Ross wherever you go.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
There's more Iowa in the Iowa Tap Room than you may realize. Housed in a building nearly as old as Iowa itself, the Iowa Tap Room greets you with a harvest of 120 Iowa craft beers on tap from all corners of the state. And the food doesn't get much more Iowa than this. The Iowa Tap Room, all Iowa beer, one amazing place.
There's always something new at Fong's Pizza. The patio is open and ready for you, your friends, and an ever-changing menu of tiki drinks. Or try our new noodle dishes alongside your favorite slice. It's all happening this summer at the new Fong's in the East Village.
Thinking about buying a home? Get pre-approved in 30 minutes with Gary Presnell at Northwest Bank in Des Moines. Gary offers first-time home buyers programs, VA, FHA, IFA, and conventional loans. Call Gary at 515-975-6767 or find his profile at nw.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know. High-quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah.
Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquor is home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Cheaper, cleaner, and homegrown. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
November's here, and that means Thanksgiving's right around the corner. And here at Willis, we're thankful for you, our guests, for entrusting us with your vehicle and service needs. With holiday season comes travel, and all those extra miles can cause wear and tear on your car. Save that for your pants after all that turkey. While we can't fix your slacks, we sure can make sure your car's in tip-top shape. So come on down to Willis for 10% off an oil change. Give us a call or schedule online at willisvolvocars.com.
For the holidays, bring real taste to the table with Gold Peak Real Brewed Tea. Made with real tea leaves and real cane sugar, Gold Peak delivers a golden, brewed for taste flavor that makes every moment more meaningful. Whether you're gathering with family or friends, celebrate the moments that matter the most, because real connections deserve real refreshment. For your upcoming holiday celebrations, choose Gold Peak Tea and bring real taste to the table.
Like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Hour number 2 of the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. If you're listening on the audio stream at therushladio.com, the Rush Radio Android app, or the TuneIn app, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, give this video a like. Leave your comments in the comment section and follow us on our social media channels. Patience is a virtue, and I got to be honest with you, Ross. Eric Henderson's a patient guy, because he sat through that entire 4-minute and 14-second break just to come on the show with us. Morning, Coach. What's going on?
Top of the morning, boys. I had a first grader he was ready to go, but I told him he got to wait about 10 minutes, boys.
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Coach. We appreciate it, man. I know that pain, by the way. During the breaks, you see me run away to get kids ready as well. So it's
That's awesome.
Got to juggle, don't you, man?
Yes, you do. You got to do it all, man.
How has the family adjusted? We haven't talked to you since the day you took the job. How has the family adjusted to the new life, the new city?
Yeah, they've been awesome. You know, we moved to Johnston, so we're in the Johnston School District, and honestly, there's so many good areas, but the people here have been just amazing. We got an awesome neighborhood, you know, and they're pretty active, so they were able to find friends right away and get connected. And then we're just Uber drivers at night. At the end of the day, there are in so many activities, we just chase them all over.
So that's a good point. And Ross, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I mean, so you're still pretty active then. I mean, because I've seen coaches that are like, okay, once the season hits, yeah, I'm going to be in my office. I work 20 hours a day. I'm home for 4 hours. You still are pretty active in what the kids are doing?
Oh, we try to be. I mean, I'm sure I'm less active than I was a couple months ago, but I think it's really important. I mean, obviously, we're trying to help, our players, and be great examples for them. And so, what type of example am I setting to be a dad and a husband if all I'm doing is just being, just not around them and stuff. So you can talk about it all you want, but they see what you're doing too, and they know where your priorities are at. And so, I think that's really important to stay active. We don't make them all. Like I tell my kids, man, I'm not going to be able to make them all. Sometimes I'm on the road. Sometimes I got things going, but when I can, it's really important for me to try to make it.
Work-life balance. That's such a cool thing to have your eye on, Coach. I admire that greatly. Can we talk about the work side of it for a little bit here?
I'm down for that too. I get excited about both.
How important is it you had a tough game to start the season off and to start off your career here at Drake University. How important was it to get that W, and what was it like at halftime when you go into that locker room and you're down? What's the message to the team in that moment? Did you feel any pressure at that time? I mean, can you walk us through that first game?
I did. It was kind of interesting. It felt like, before the game, there was some tightness within our guys. But, going back and kind of reflecting on it, to no surprise, right? I mean, not one of those dudes have played together in a single game, not one. And so, I do understand it a little bit, and I got to do a better job of lighting them up a little bit, maybe telling a joke or something. But there was some tightness going into it. And then at halftime, we had the lead for most of the half, right? And then so to lose it right there at the buzzer and give up a three was our guys were deflated a little bit, but also understanding like no panic. There was never any panic. Hey guys, we're going to continue to get better. We had a little bit of a lull there the second part of the first half. We couldn't score for a little bit, and so that just kind of snowballed for us there. And then but to our guys' credit, and that's probably what I'm as proud of them the most, is just the resiliency, their togetherness, because we faced a couple times during that game in the second half at halftime, a lot of adversity, right? We were resilient and we were together. We never buckled in that area. So that's probably what I was most proud about even.
Yeah, I mean, because you were down double digits in the second half, and I remember sitting there watching going, this was not expected, but not – and we actually talked about that yesterday. That might have been the most impressive thing about that game. You fall behind with a brand new you got a team that has its third head coach in 3 years, basically its third new roster in 3 years, and playing together the first time, you're down double digits. How do you respond? That response, being down double digits, had to be one thing that you look back and go, hey, this is something we can build off of.
Yeah. We didn't splinter, right? And it was the same mentality in the huddle then as it was in the locker room at halftime. Hey, there's no 11-point possessions out there. We just got to continue to win possessions, right? And let's make sure. But it had to start with stops, because you got to do both when you're down 11. But if you don't get stops, then it's going to be even harder to score. So we really placed an emphasis on defense. I thought Will Exact and Jalen Quinn in particular, I thought they just were able to – they made a couple, 50-50 plays. They got that tide turned a little bit, and we were able to carry it home. But you need that once in a while. You need somebody to make one of those plays where it's just like, whoa, okay, we're going to be all right. And then and we were able to, snowball that and get going. And I was really proud of the resiliency and togetherness in that tough time for sure.
Does it take being in the game and actually having the lights on and the pressure before you can see what those guys are made of like that?
Oh, I think so, because it feels just a little bit different. You know what I mean? And it's one thing to do it when there's nobody watching in the practice gym or something like that. But when you got a nice crowd in front of you, you got, there's a little bit more value on the line maybe for the result. It does. I think it takes that heat of the moment to kind of learn about your team, right? And the exhibitions are good, but there ain't nothing like the real thing.
Yeah, I like that.
Did you have a lot of friends come down from Brookings to see in Sioux Falls?
Yeah, we saw a lot of familiar faces, which was great. I think I said to you guys before, it wasn't like my ideal place to go play my first game as the head coach of Drake, to be real honest with you. But it was cool. We have a lot of memories back there, a lot of good friends. And so to be able to go see them and reminisce a little bit was cool. The outcome helped it make it cooler.
You're a very positive guy, Coach. You kind of carry that optimism with you. But when you went back and watched the film from that first game, or maybe even in the locker room right after, what was the thing that you thought you needed to work on the most, or what did you take away from that that you were a little bit more critical about?
A couple things, like in the first half, they got us on the glass pretty good. Yeah. We ended up winning the rebounding battle, but their second chance points really gave them a little bit of momentum, and so. But we didn't give up a second chance point in the second half. So that was great. But in the first half, we just kind of let them in it by that. And so we got to make sure we're winning the battle on the boards and not giving them second chance points. And then in the second half, we got a little sticky with the ball. We were dribbling the ball just a little bit too much and not getting it moved, because when it touches multiple people's hands, it gives that ball energy, man, and you got to give that ball energy to get it to go in. So those are the two things that probably stood out the most.
I love that phrase. We got a little sticky with the ball. That's good. That's good. Was the second chance points thing something that you addressed at halftime? I mean, is that something that you made kind of made a directive at halftime, and that's got to feel good if you pointed that out and the guys responded that way?
Yeah, for sure. And our guys, this group of guys, it will not be a lack of effort. We're just we're not quite as cohesive as we need to be yet because it's going to take a little time. We're just when you're thinking out there, you're not quite as quick, you're not quite as athletic, you're not quite as physical. And our guys, it's just not quite there yet where it's just natural and it's just really easy for them. And so we're close and we're getting closer every day, but kind of like you said before, there's nothing like game days, right? And there's nothing like being able to learn while doing. And so it's going to take a little bit, but you can see progress every day in that area. And so we'll keep growing.
So you got to watch Robert Morris last night. You got some good scouting tape on Robert Morris. Got blown out at Iowa. Did they come to the Knapp Center tomorrow? Your thoughts on what you saw from Robert Morris last night?
Yeah, I mean, first off, probably more about Iowa than Robert Morris. I mean, I think the way they jumped on him was pretty impressive. It kind of deflated them early, right? And so, but to Robert Morris's credit, I mean, they had a great fight to. You know, they didn't give up. They didn't give in. They kept battling, and they got great size. They've got some bodies that look the part, you know, and so I know they're going to be physical. You know, they turned it over 22 times, right? And that led to so many baskets for Iowa. So we got to make sure we can put them in some positions to hopefully make some mistakes, and we capitalize on those turnovers too, right? And so that's something that we're going to look at. And they also, in the first half, I think they had 11 offensive rebounds. So it's going to be something that's important for us, again, is to keep them off the glass. But they got some guys that can shoot. They made 11 threes. You know, they really do a nice job of spacing the floor. Obviously, they were an NCAA tournament team last year with a lot of new players, but they got DNA, you know, like us. They've got a backbone. They've got some stuff to them that they're not just going to fold. And we know they'll be ready to bounce back against us, and they'll be ready to fight. It's going to be a fun game in the Knapp Center. I can't wait to be there with all the people inside, and it's going to be a pretty exciting day.
We know you got family stuff, Coach. Do you have a few more minutes, or
Absolutely.
Okay, terrific. All right, so tomorrow night, let's just talk about what your expectations are for that, for the Knapp Center, for the team, for the game. What are you hoping to get out of tomorrow night besides a win?
Yeah, the ultimate, right? But you know, first and foremost, I mean, the energy in the building. I mean, that's what my expectations are, and that's you know, it's partly on our fan base and to show up and be engaged and be involved in the game. But then it's partly on us too. Like, we have to make sure we play a certain way. We got to make sure we're playing with a great amount of energy and enthusiasm, celebrating each other. That's what our fan base is going to enjoy, right? And I think they're going to really enjoy the pace that we play with. That will be enjoyable. But just really continue to work on that, you know, chemistry that we were talking about. Are we going to get a little bit better in rebound? Are we going to have just a few less mistakes than we had the day, you know, on Monday? And so just that continued growth is really what the expectations are for our team.
Do you, how do you get the students there? Are you the type of guy that says, screw it, I'm going to go dorm to dorm, go to the food court, go to the frat houses and just knock on the door and say, hey, get over there. How are you going to embrace this?
No shame for me, man. I'll go anywhere knocking now. Because you're right. That honestly is probably the biggest thing, because you guys know, like our fan base that aren't our students, they're pretty loyal, and they're going to show up, and they always have. But once you can get that student section filled, boy, that's when it can make it really, really special. But we got an awesome marketing department. The Des Moines hometown team deal has just really, really boosted attendance and to make people have more pride in our program. So, but yeah, I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure those students get here too. Now that's a big deal.
I'm going to go change subjects a little bit to NIL, and we talked to Coach Greg McDermott about this before, and I know he's a good friend of yours, and I saw this yesterday. You know, a lot of those Power 5 schools are throwing that $20 million at football players. How big an advantage do Valley schools that, and Drake in particular, that doesn't have, they have football, but a bulk of that NIL money probably doesn't go to football. And you look at Creighton and the Big East, none of those schools have football, but they got a $20 million gap there. How much does that benefit a school that doesn't have a big football program?
Well, I don't think it hurts. I'll be honest with you. I mean,
I think it's going to be a leveler, right? I can see the Power Four going. Hold on for a second. Big East, Missouri Valley Conference. You don't get to spend $20 million on basketball. That creates an unfair advantage. I'm like, so you guys created the rules, right?
Yeah, and that's all we have to do is play by them, right? That's the reality of it. But you're right. I think the schools that are willing to invest, the schools that really place a high priority on basketball, it's a huge deal. And when like Creighton doesn't have it, obviously Coach Woodley's doing an incredible job with our football program. And man, they're just very tough and they take on his DNA, but being at Drake and the value that they place on basketball, it's a huge deal.
Yeah, I mean, even if you got $5 or $6 million to spend, that's a lot more than probably more Power Five.
I don't, but that's fine.
I don't. All right, I want to get personal here. Ross was just talking about his
guys,
grandma.
I'm fixing a stuck hair bow here. I got some
he's braiding at the same time.
Sorry about that, guys.
Before we get out of here, Ross was just talking about his grandma had like this magic salve when he was a kid. Like they'd put some ointment on there, and like a sliver would go away. Did your grandma or mom have any magic cures to when you got hurt? I'm just curious.
I think it was kind of the old natural honey deal. Everything was honey. Everything was honey. If you have a runny nose, put a little honey in some tea and drink that. If you have sore throat, same thing. Need to rub it on a little whatever burn or something. Rub it on there. You'll be fine. There wasn't a lot of empathy going on. I can promise you that.
Yeah, my mom used the old Bactine iodine, and when I had a cold, I can't believe I'm not an alcoholic because I'd be like 8 years old and I had a flu. So here's a hot toddy. I go, what's a hot toddy?
Yeah.
It's boiled whiskey. I'm like, what are we doing here? You're giving a 5-year-old whiskey.
And you liked it. You got sick more often.
Absolutely. Oh, man. Coach, good stuff. We appreciate it. Good luck tomorrow. Let's hook up again throughout the season because I'm sure we're going to have a lot to talk about. And you're right. It's one step at a time. It's getting to know each other, but getting that first win was a good step in the right direction. And we'll keep in touch.
I appreciate all you guys do, fellas.
Thanks.
All
Go
right.
get them, Coach. See you tomorrow night.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Coach Eric Henderson joining us on the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. I don't know if this guy's still on hold or not. I know he doesn't want to give his name. He says he doesn't want to give his name.
Okay.
Are you there? You don't have to give your name, but you have some. John Doe, welcome to the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. Hello? Okay.
He really didn't want people to know who he was.
No, and I think just because I just want to leave a message. He has your answer, by the way. He says it's Watkins Pro-salve. He goes, it's a Watkins product.
Well, this was not what my grandma had was not a name brand thing. And I tried to do some Googling during the break.
Is
also.
Watkins name brand though? They were like door to door full of brush sales.
Dude, I have no idea. I mean, this thing was in like a
tin?
Like an old jam jar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't come
like
from,
homemade stuff.
Yeah, it was homemade. And I did some Googling to find it, and I think I found what it is because I found I Googled homemade drawing salve for splinters. And it came up and said, yep, there's a thing you can make. But man, I thought what you were gonna say, Trav, there's a special ingredient. It takes I found it earlier. I'm missing it here. There's an actual chemical. That's what I thought the guy was. Oh, here it is. Ictamol.
Ictamol?
ICHTH. AMMOL.
You sound like you're in the script spelling bee.
Dude, yeah, right. ICHTH. AMMOL. I don't even know how you'd say that word.
Can you say it in a sentence, please?
No.
What's its origin?
Is how you make a drawing
What's its
salve.
origin? What's its origin?
Tyler says it's placebo. I promise you guys it was not placebo. This thing worked. And in fact, it was the opposite of placebo. Because when you'd put it on, you'd go, this isn't going to work.
And then it worked.
And then it worked.
Yeah. How can it be a placebo, Tyler, when you take your Band-Aid off and the frickin' splinters out of your hand? That's not a placebo.
And it's not a placebo when your brain is going, no way, this is going to work. And then it does.
Kevin says, we use that on our horses. Are you sure it's not
Kevin?
ivermectin?
Yeah. Ictamol. Ictamol. I don't know. It's a word. It's a word. I just can't pronounce it.
Is there anything worse than a splinter, by the way? Splinters are the worst.
It was funny. Yesterday, Audrey said, Dad, if you could get rid of one thing in the world, what would it be?
Splinters.
And I said, oh, honey, that's a really good question. And she goes, mine would be splinters. And I said, that's a good thing to get rid of. And she goes, do you know what I think you would pick? And I said, what would I pick? And she goes, taxes.
Who's paying attention in the house? Who's paying attention in the house?
I must bitch about taxes a lot. I said, because she got a paper cut the other day. She got one of those awful paper cuts right between. She got in the car and she's like, Dad, I got a paper cut today. I said, where at? And she went like that. I was like, oh, it's the worst spot to get it. That was so funny. I think I know what you would pick. Taxes. I was like, oh, baby girl's paying attention.
After 7:30, we're going to talk a lot more about the college football playoff poll that came out. I was not able to watch the college football playoff poll reveal last night because it's on ESPN and it's not on YouTube TV. And my plan.
I shouldn't laugh at that. I'm so sorry.
No,
That's
I mean,
mean of me.
but now in the heart of college basketball season, we weren't able to watch Duke Texas last night. You've got Texas LSU in college football this weekend that I'm not going to be able to watch. And my plan, Ross, was to say, give this a week, get rid of YouTube TV, and get Hulu. Now, I think I've changed my mind, and here's why I changed my mind. Because I respect people that stick to their guns, right? Or at least if they have conviction, they stick to it. Disney went to YouTube TV and said, hey, could you put ABC on for election night for one night only? We really like ABC to get, and YouTube said, and Google said, no. In fact, we just did an analysis of all our previous election coverages and nobody watched ABC, so we're not going to put it on. We're not going to put it on because, and they were right. It would be confusing to viewers if you put it on and then took it off the very next day. You'd be like, what are you doing here? You're playing with my emotions.
One of those little scrolling chyrons along that said, this is only going to be on for 24 hours or whatever.
So I'm like, you know what? As much as the consumer here is caught in the middle of all this, and Chris Williams had a good podcast on Disney is not the victim, and he's 100% right in his Disney is not. They're trying to get everybody to move over. YouTube TV has twice as many subscribers as Hulu. I mean, it's not even close. I mean, they have the penetration of the streaming market for YouTube TV is amazing. And I think they just said, you know what? We're not going to pay an overpriced thing for your streaming services, but you don't get to come to us and say, hey, could you please just put it on for one night because, you do it for America. Do it for America, right? Well, America has CBS, America has NBC, America has CNN, America has MSNBC, they have Fox. There's other places to get your election results. You don't need ABC. So then after I heard that, I'm like, oh, you got conviction. I'm going to stick with you another week, damn it. Go Google.
Yeah. I'm always talking about, Travis, and I talk to I try to preach this to my kids all the time about not picking sides, not choosing good and evil. And I mean, like, there's times to do that. I want to be clear about that. But a lot of times society wants you to make a black or white decision about things that are very much gray area things. In a way, that's what's going through my brain when I want to say this to you. When multi-billion-dollar corporations are fighting with each other, neither one of them's fighting for you.
I would agree with you. I don't disagree with you on that.
So I see people in the chat that are like, yeah, this is the type of thing I want to sign up for YouTube TV right now. I'd say you're falling for it. You're falling for the gimmick. You're falling for this thing of like, man, we're in it for the little guy. We're going to hold our ground because to fight for the people. No, this ain't about you at all. This ain't about you at all. This is about the almighty dollar. And there are other ways to watch this stuff, I promise you. If you get creative in 2025, hell, if you get creative in 2015, you could start to find this stuff. If you really want to watch the LSU game this weekend, I guarantee you there's a way. I guarantee you. Might have to do some Googling.
I just don't want to put in the work. I don't want to work at it.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. And that's the thing. There is a little bit of work and there's a little bit of creativity that's got to come into it. But like in this entire conversation about Disney and YouTube, try to convince me that one of them's looking out for you. Can't be done. Can't be done. So, luckily,
it's kind of like the government shutdown. Republicans and Democrats.
Bingo.
Try to convince me that one of them is really looking out for you.
Bingo. Exactly. But boy, that's the type of thing, Trav. You say that, and you'll get it going right away in the chat.
Know.
It'll be like, it's Democrats' fault. It's Republicans' fault. How do you not know it's the other guy? And everybody points fingers. You got neighbors screaming at each other about how nobody that knows you or gives a crap about you, they're the ones fighting for the little guy.
There's no little guy in this picture anymore.
There is little guys. It's us.
But you know what I'm talking about. I mean,
not in the headlines.
Not in the headlines.
No decision makers. They'll tell you they are. That's how they win you over, and that's how they get you to subscribe and give you. Oh.
Fighting for me.
They'll tell you that. So I am lucky that I am on the outside of this conversation totally, because again, I didn't know that YouTube has twice as many subscribers as Hulu.
And somebody put it in the chat, and it's not going to sound like a lot, but when you do the math, it is. Right now, Disney, by not being on YouTube TV, is losing $5 million a day.
Wow.
Do the math. $5 million. Now, if I'm a shareholder, if I'm a stockholder, I'm like, why are we losing money like this? I know you can make more by trying to get people to move over, but I think most people are like me, and they don't want to change. They like, and somebody brought it up, I do like the user experience on YouTube TV. It's very easy for me to navigate. I get it. You have a different user experience than me, but when you get used to stuff, you're like, oh, this is great.
My dad still has DirecTV.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's what he's used to. It's because it's easy, and change is hard.
Knows how to use it.
Yeah, right. Dude from Iowa, is this true? He says Google owns both. Is that true?
Well, Google owns YouTube TV. They don't own Disney.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't feel sorry for Google either. Google makes a fair amount of money.
Ken with the great line from Tommy Boy that applies to this so much. I make parts for the American working man because that's who I am and that's who I care about. If that doesn't make sense to you, give it a minute. It's from Tommy Boy, and it's supposed to shine a light on that idea that, boy, these marketing things, they say all the right things. What was the guy who owned the parts company trying to do? Make money.
100%.
But my box has a guarantee on it. My autograph comes with a certificate of authenticity. Okay. It works.
This is your final chance to win tickets to an Iowa football game from the Iowa Lottery. Enter non-winning blackout scratch tickets into your VIP club account via the second chance promotion before 10 a.m. today for a chance to win tickets to the game against Michigan State on November 22nd. Again, 10 a.m. today. You can win 4 stadium seat tickets, a parking pass, a Hawkeye merchandise package, and $250 in spending money. All you have to do is go to iowalottery.com for details and to get entered. It is the Rush Radio Show powered by Willis Automotive. For the holidays, bring real taste to the table with Gold Peak Real Brewed Tea. Made with real tea leaves and real cane sugar, Gold Peak delivers a golden, brewed for taste flavor that makes every moment more meaningful. Whether you're gathering with family or friends, celebrate the moments that matter the most, because real connections deserve real refreshment. For your upcoming holiday celebrations, choose Gold Peak Tea and bring real taste to the table.
Your house wasn't built for bats, birds, or raccoons, but try telling them that. At Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions, we've been helping Iowans take back their homes for over 20 years. We use cost-effective, eco-friendly methods to solve wildlife and pest problems the right way. Whether it's bats in your attic, birds in the vents, raccoons in your chimney, or moles in your yard, we have long-term solutions. Call Bats and Bugs Pest Solutions today at 515-218-3400, and let's make sure your home doesn't become their home.
It's October at Willis Nissan, and the savings this month are scary good. Lease the stylish Nissan Sentra or the versatile Nissan Kicks for payments so low, we call them fun size. And that's not the only trick up our sleeves this month. Right now, you can get 0% APR on Murano and Pathfinder, or take advantage of customer cash. All those treats, and we won't even make you tell us a joke. Visit us online at willisnissan.com or stop into our showroom today.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
A fuel choice that even rivals can agree on? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
Hey, it's Noel from Fiscus Jewelers. This holiday season, give the gift of sparkle that lasts a lifetime. From our latest designs to timeless favorites, there's something for everyone on your list. Already have a Fiscus diamond? Bring it in and trade up with our 100% trade up program. It's the perfect way to shine a little brighter this year. And if you're dreaming up something custom, get your design started by December 1st for Christmas delivery. Let's make this season magical together. Fiscus Jewelers, your jeweler for life.
The largest selection of German beer in the world? You'll find it at the Hessen House. From Doppelbocks to Oktoberfest to Hefeweizens and Dunkels, there's no passport needed for the deliciously different beer and food at the Hessen House. So grab your friends and make it a fun night out. The Hessen House, 4th and Court, Des Moines.
You know, Brian, at Central City, we really do have the best selection around.
I know, high quality stuff you can't find anywhere else.
Whistle Pig Plantation Rum.
Yeah, and over 150 of the best scotches on earth.
And a ton of bitters, mixers, and more.
You know what we are? High class.
Definitely high class, yeah. Make way for the natty.
Okay, maybe medium class.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
Hi, I'm Sean, Service Manager here at Mini of Des Moines. The holiday season is just around the corner, and now's a great time for you to make sure your Mini is ready for any holiday plans you have. Visit us now to take advantage of our $100 mail-in rebate on the purchase of 4 select tires. Visit us online or give us a call to schedule your appointment.
Back like a rash you thought was gone. Travis and Ross aren't contagious, but they are addictive. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.
Welcome back to the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Got a half hour left in the show. Hope you're enjoying it. The college football playoff poll came out last night, and the Iowa Hawkeyes are in the first college football playoff poll, Ross. They come in at number 20. Were you surprised at that number? Let's start off there.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised, if that's the right way to say it. I mean, I thought that they would be in the top 25, and we said this the other day, that the College Football Playoff Committee was going to look a little bit deeper into the resumes. It wasn't going to just be a reaction to the previous week's poll or just a copy of the AP poll. And I think when you look at Iowa's resume, and big thanks to Joel Klatt for getting that Iowa resume on a national level with that semi-viral video that compared Iowa to Texas, I think that helped a lot to get some people to go, oh, man, this team was they had Indiana on the ropes with 1:30 to play. Their other loss is to an in-state rival on a 79-yard field goal. We decided it's always going to get longer, right?
It's going to be 110 by the end of the season.
He kicked a 143-yard. He hit a field goal from the parking lot, guys. So I think that's where. And by the way, Travis, this is an important part of this conversation. The college football playoff committee, since its inception, has always been playing chess. And what I mean by that is they're looking down the road. They're looking at their final poll and positioning teams now for that final poll. They realize if Iowa wins out, they're probably going to be a top 15 team and really going to be in that conversation to be one of those at-large bids there. We'll get into what.
Yes.
We'll get into that. But they can't have Iowa be 32nd and then move them up to 12 after they beat Oregon. But if they're 20 and they beat Oregon, now they can be a top 15 team, and nobody's going to bat an eye, nobody's going to stink about it. And I think that's why you see the college football playoff poll. I really do think they play chess with this thing. You see SEC
and I'm okay
teams,
with them playing chess like that.
I mean, to a point. Yeah, I agree.
Because
with you.
it's not a gross. It's not a. You're not putting team. I mean, the only 3-loss team in the poll is Tennessee at 25, right? And so you have teams that are, we could say, worthy and that are playing pretty decent right now.
And then
now,
Tennessee's losses are really good losses too, right?
Yes.
And so I think that's a part of it.
So here's the good news. Here's the bad news of the college football playoff poll for Iowa. You look at that number 20 spot. You got number 9 Oregon this weekend. Then you go to number 19 USC. If USC keeps winning, they'll probably move up next week. So there's opportunity there. Iowa has to keep winning. Okay, another loss. This isn't a conversation. If they keep winning, I think with 2 losses, Ross, Iowa is good enough to get to that 12 or 11 mark. That's only if they win out. The problem with the 12 or 11 mark right now is this. You don't have an ACC team in the top 10. An ACC team gets an automatic bid. You don't have a group of 5 team in the top 25. It's all Power 4 conferences. The group of 5 is guaranteed to get 1 spot. So if you looked at the bracket today, Oklahoma is number 12. Oklahoma would not be in the playoff because Memphis, out of the group of 5, would get that final college football playoff spot. And so, sure, Iowa could play itself up to 12 or 11 and still get bumped.
Damn it.
And you're like, wouldn't this be like the most Iowa thing ever to happen?
To end up in the running and be in a way legislated out because
of rules.
This is why I hate the guarantees. Now I don't know which side of this argument I want to be on, Trav. So let me just think about this out loud for a second, or kind of walk you through what I'm thinking here, because I hate the idea that we're going to guarantee a power or a group of 5 school. I hate that, because what if they don't deserve to be there? And this is a perfect example of it. They don't have a team that deserves to be in that conversation. Not right now. So, but I also want there to be some guardrails, because otherwise then the media controls it all. If ESPN just continues to pump the SEC and the college football playoff committee ends up getting filled up with people that are SEC homers, then nobody stands a chance. The college football playoff is going to be 10 SEC teams and a Big 10 team and a Big 12 team, maybe. Now, this year, obviously, you've got Ohio State and Indiana, and you got a couple of really big, heavy hitters there at the top of the Big 10. So I think you can make that argument that there would be a couple more. But I don't know which one. If you made me pick, do you put the guardrails in? Do you guarantee a couple spots, or do you not?
I say you don't. And listen, there is no perfect system, because 9.5 times out of 10, The Big Ten's going to be represented. The SEC's, screw that. 10 out of 10 times, the Big Ten and the SEC are going to be represented.
Yes, you're right.
9.5 times out of 10, the Big 12 is going to be represented. I'd probably say 9 times out of 10, the ACC is going to be represented. The group of 5, I don't care about. I really don't care about.
To say I'm with you, dude. I'm totally with you. Like,
if you want a shot, win. Go undefeated.
Yeah.
You're not. Nobody from outside the Power 4 conferences is in the top 25 right now. So, you could probably make an argument for Memphis. And I heard Nick Saban last week on College Game Day saying that Memphis is playing like one of the best teams in the country. I don't know if I'd go that far, but what that told me is that he has the respect, or they have the respect of Nick Saban. But what I don't like is, and somebody put it in the chat, said, if Iowa wins out, they're in. I would not go there. Florida State was undefeated and didn't make it into the top 4 when it was still a 4-team playoff, and it dismantled that program. And somebody's going to get left out, because Memphis isn't all of a sudden going to be in the top 12 at the end of the season. So there's going to be somebody in the top 12 that's going to get bumped. Okay, that's going to happen.
Did you see with the college football? You know, they announced the rankings 1 through 25, but then there's also the thing of like, all right, here's what the playoff would look like right now. Do you know what that first round matchup is? It's Memphis versus Georgia.
Because Oklahoma doesn't get in. Oklahoma's the number 12 team in the country, but they don't get in.
I wonder what Vegas would have that line at. Memphis at Georgia?
Probably 8.5, 9.
I double digits. Double digits. So you've got, here's what the opening round matchups would be: Oregon and Texas Tech. That sounds like a fun football game. Virginia at Ole Miss. Okay. Notre Dame at BYU. That's a fun game. Notre Dame at BYU. That could be a road.
And keep an eye on Notre Dame, right? I mean, this is where politics go. This is why I don't like the guarantees.
Yeah.
And for Iowa to make it, I think it has to get to at least number 10. Based on the group of 5, and if the ACC can't move up, 2 teams are going to get bumped that are ranked in the top 12. I want to believe, and maybe I'm naive, maybe I fall for it. I want to believe that the best teams are going to get in, and you don't have to have a guarantee. I certainly don't want the SEC and the Big Ten to get a guaranteed 4 spots like they're politicking for. And I know they hold the bulk of the power when it comes to expansion. But I don't want these guarantees. Well, we're the Big Ten, we get 4. Well, if you're not one of the best 4 teams, I don't want you in. I mean, the Big Ten has
12.
Best 12.
Yeah.
Or the best 16 or the best 24, whatever they expand to.
But this is where, again, like my brain keeps going to the thing of, but then who decides what best means? Because that's where the slippery slope thing starts to happen. That's why you got to have.
There's no way to determine who the best is. It's impossible.
The only way is to get a group of people in a room and say, hey, what do you guys think? And then who are those people and what are their biases and where are they getting their information and how much? I mean, there's all sorts of other stuff. So that's why I say my brain still can't decide between those two things. Should there be guardrails and guarantees or should there not? I do tell you, I lean on that there should not side, where I don't think that there should. But then I instantly go, then who's in charge? Who gets to make that decision? And what are their biases? And where do they come from? And all of that stuff. So I say this, you look at this playoff right now, what the first round of this looks like, and I think most people should look at this and go, that's not what this is supposed to look like. You're not supposed to have Memphis going to play at Georgia. Dude, that's going to be, to say it's a double digit, that could be a 30-point game.
Kind of like SMU going to Penn State last year to open up, right? Just imagine if you're an Oklahoma fan today. You're in the top 12, and then you look at that first bracket, and you're like, where are we at? Oh, and you can say, well, I don't feel sorry for Oklahoma. Just switch your team. Put Iowa there. If Iowa State was any good, put Iowa State there, and
if
you'd be
Iowa
like,
State would have lived
you'd
up to the
be furious
expectation we had.
today.
Oh my
because you would
gosh.
see what the implication is. Right now, it's not sitting in with Hawkeye fans. They're just like, okay, we're in the conversation. If we take care of business, we're going to be in a position. You get to that 12-11 mark, then you're going to start panicking. You're going to be like, if we get bumped for Memphis, you've got to be kidding me.
I had 2 losses all year, and they're those 2 losses we keep talking about. Again, lots of ifs and buts and candy and nuts and stuff like that. Lots of that. Yeah, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle type of thing, right?
I've never heard that one.
You've never heard that?
I've never heard if my aunt had balls, she might be my uncle. I've never heard that.
If my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. It's a way of basically saying ifs don't matter. Ifs don't matter. If Iowa State would have beat BYU, they'd be in the playoff. They would be that number 7 team right now who'd be looking at hosting a matchup with Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming to Ames? Oh, my God, that'd be awesome. That'd be amazing. We'd be super excited about that. Travis, you're right. What if this thing does play out that way? What if the Hawkeyes do beat Oregon, which I'm not putting an L next to this game yet. I think that the way the Hawkeyes beat Minnesota and what I've seen from some of Oregon, I think the Hawkeyes can play with them. I really hope that they win that game. And then you go out to USC and you win at USC. Yeah, you're going to climb up that college football playoff poll and you're going to be right in that 12 range. Well, what does that mean? Not enough is what that means. What that means right now is not enough. You don't get in with that because you got to put Memphis in. You got to put in who's the other team that would be kind of forced in.
Well, it'd be an ACC, Virginia.
And Hawkeye fans could rightfully look around and go, we would beat the shit out of Memphis. Look at our resume. We would beat Virginia. Why? Guarantees.
Promises made. Deals, backroom deals made. Now, the good news for Iowa fans is, and I'm not saying they're going to beat Oregon. I'm not going to say they're going to lose to Oregon. I think it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I do too.
If they lose, it's a moot point. It's all for naught. But Iowa fans should be at least happy they're in the conversation right now. You see a pathway, and it's better to be in the conversation than not be in the conversation.
This is where I thought Iowa State would be, honestly. This is what I thought we would be having this conversation about Iowa State being on that verge. And man, if they can just if the chips fall the right way, they're going to end up in the right spot. And things still might happen for the Hawkeyes too. You might have some upsets that knock out Notre Dame. What does Notre Dame's schedule look like the rest of the way out? Do you know?
What do they have? Do they have USC? Have they played USC yet?
Dude, they're making it. Let's just say that. It is. They play at Pitt, who's the number 24 team.
Pitt's pretty good.
That could be tough. But their schedule the rest of the way is Navy, at Pitt, Syracuse, and at Stanford. So more than likely Notre Dame is going to make it and be in. Who's another one of those teams that we could see get upset and get knocked out? Because again, there's going to be a Memphis and a Virginia. There's going to be a group of 5, and there's going to be an ACC team that annoy you. So you gotta those. It doesn't matter what happens. If one of those 2 teams does get upset, another one just fills its place. That vacuum just sucks another one back up into it. But what? Okay, so Oregon would then be your next.
If Oregon gets beat, and Oregon's got a tough road ahead, man. Oregon's got Washington left. It has, even if they were to beat Iowa this weekend, there's no guarantees that Oregon would make it.
Oregon has three of their final 4 games are against top 25 teams. It's
Iowa, USC,
Minnesota,
and Washington.
Yeah. So they got a tough road out. And honestly, if they win out, they definitely deserve to be there. There is no
If they win out, they should almost be like number 5 or number 4. I mean, they're that
might be hosting a game.
Might be hosting a game. So what I do like, and polls are polarizing. But I like this poll because we're in November. It's the first one. I look at this poll as more of a real snapshot than what the coaches produce and what the Associated Press produces.
I'll tell you what, man. We haven't talked about this. There's the conversation with Bill Fennelly and the conversation with Dan McCarney kind of changed my mind on the coaches poll.
And that's fine.
I used to laugh at it. I used to ignore it totally. And then all of a sudden, those two guys come on and say, no, I took that very seriously.
But that's those two. We don't know what the other coaches are doing.
That's true. But it did. I didn't think any coach took it seriously. I even thought Bill. When we asked Bill Finley, I thought for sure he was going to say, "I let one of the interns do that." I just have her go and copy down the AP top 25 and submit that. That's not at all. They both said, no. I took that responsibility very seriously. So I have to assume there are more coaches that do that. I'm still not putting a lot of weight in it, but it did change my opinion on it slightly.
And I want to believe the college football playoff committee is taking it seriously. I mean, they gather in a room, they go through the analytics, they talk. I want to believe, because that's the system we have. You want to believe that there's always going to be bias. But bias is part of every equation. But sooner or later, if you're looking at number 2 and number 3, going, I'm waffling, a bias is probably going to move you somebody to, because you have to make that selection.
Yeah. And Travis, it's not just 1 or 2. The most important part is that 10, 11, 12. That's where a real decision is going to be made. Again, like you said with Oklahoma. Oklahoma fans have to be looking around going, what the hell? What the hell?
What Memphis? Now, this is a long day. There's a lot of football to be played.
Yes, there is. And it'll all shake out.
And it will all shake out. I think we all agree with that. But let's say, hypothetically, Iowa gets to that 12 spot and gets left out.
Dude.
And you got to be, it's the old Jack Nicholson line where you just kind of go, is this as good as it gets? You know, I mean, you got yourself to where you thought you needed to be, and then you get bumped for a team that isn't even in the top 12. There are 7 teams in the college football playoff poll from the Big Ten. That's the most the Big Ten has ever had in the top 25. 7 teams. Ohio State is number 1. Indiana is number 2. Even if one of those teams lost, they're getting in. Right? I mean, that's the way I view it. I think it's setting up for the Big Ten to get 3 teams in. But if Oregon loses, I mean, you have teams in the Big Ten that can just beat each other and could shake this whole thing up to where the Big Ten only got 2 teams in. That would be a shocker.
Travis, I think if Iowa beats Oregon, you might be looking at that.
Yeah.
And again, you've laid it out, man. The Hawkeyes could win out and not get in unless there's some other upsets in there. You can't count Memphis and Virginia because, again, there's a vacuum there that's just going to suck straight from that same group of teams. So Iowa can't fill one of those spots. They've got to take the place of a Texas Tech, a BYU. Man, does the Big 12 end up with 1 team if that happens? They do. They could.
Could. Okay, let me change it because I don't want to look past Oregon. You can't look past Oregon.
No.
And you got to take it one game at a time. But if you beat Oregon and beat USC, how decisively do you have to beat Michigan State and Nebraska?
Well, yeah, you got to dominate those teams, but I don't even know that it would matter, Trav. I mean, really, I really don't. I don't think if you beat Nebraska by 50, it's not like the committee's going to go, oh my gosh, you're now better than Texas.
Yeah.
I don't know that it matters. I think that's a good question, but my knee-jerk reaction is it won't matter.
Because I try to take into account recency bias, where if they're watching these teams like, oh, they just dominated. They're better than what I thought they were, right? I mean, we knew they were going to be close against Oregon. We knew they were going to be close against USC. But if you dominate teams, and if you did it back-to-back, there's reasons. I'm just looking for any way to make an excuse for Iowa to get to that number.
Yeah, I understand. I think, maybe it would depend on how Nebraska plays between now and then. Because if this backup quarterback ends up sucking, then it's easy to go, well, they beat Nebraska with a backup quarterback. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Iowa loses on Saturday. We don't even care about this conversation anymore.
Right.
We don't even care. We're like, oh, those are the 12 teams. We're going to watch the college football playoff. Yeah, rah. But, yeah, that's what I'm glad the Hawks are 20th. And you're right with the chess match. They can move up the chessboard.
It's always been interesting to watch this college football playoff, these first couple of rankings, because I think that, and this is something that Williams turned me on to a long time ago when this first started, of like, oh yeah, they're going to show their cards early on. And I think that that's kind of what's happened here a little bit. When you see 4 SEC teams, 3 Big Ten teams, I think that's what they're doing, is they position themselves so that Texas can get in, so that, you know, if you got to sneak in Oklahoma, if you got to sneak in Vanderbilt, who's also a 2-loss SEC team, they've put Vanderbilt at 16.
I think that's fair. I don't have a problem with it.
I do too. I think it's going to be impossible for the Hawkeyes to just jump them with wins over Oregon and USC. If Vanderbilt wins out as well. Let's see what Vanderbilt's got for the rest of the way. Because, again, Louisville's a 1-loss ACC team. Yeah,
I think the ACC is only going to get one team in, though.
Vanderbilt has Auburn, Kentucky, and Tennessee. They win out, they're in.
Tennessee's
they win out, they stay above the Hawkeyes.
Yes.
Who win out.
Tennessee's going to be tough.
It's at Tennessee, too. That's the last week.
Who's Tennessee got left? Just curious, because they've had a hell of a schedule already.
They have. Tennessee was 25th in the playoff.
Yep.
They're the only 3-loss team, as you pointed out. We talked about it yesterday. Their losses are to Georgia, and it was Georgia, at Alabama, and against Oklahoma. Their way out is New Mexico State, at Florida, and then they host Vanderbilt.
I mean, a committee will take stock in Florida. Yeah, I just look and say if they win out, I think that New Mexico State game would hurt them in a strength of schedule. I look at Iowa's 4 remaining games. I look at Tennessee's remaining games. I like Iowa's schedule better.
Yeah, I agree.
But again, at least we're having this conversation. You're having this conversation late in the season.
It's a good way to look at it.
Something to be excited about. Come next Monday, we may be like, or we might like, here we go.
You're in the top 20 of the college football playoff poll. That's awesome. That's better than I thought the Hawkeyes were. That's a better position than I thought the Hawkeyes were going to be in after they lost to Iowa State. I truthfully, and we've talked about this, I thought that this would be the conversation we'd be having with Iowa State at this point in the season. And not glad that Iowa State's not in the conversation, but very happy that Iowa is.
But if one thing hasn't changed, it's how we process our brain around polls. Before the playoff, we would play, who's going to be the national champion based on the poll? Then it got to a 4-team playoff. Who belongs in the 4-team? You go to 12 teams, the conversation doesn't change. It just gets bigger.
We said that. And when it gets to 16, it's going to be the same thing. And when it gets to 32, it's going to be the same thing.
Got plans today?
I'm behind on housework, dude. I'm going to get Audrey to school. Got a few things I'm working on through some real estate stuff. But for the most part today, it's going to be laundry, dishes, clean up around the house. I want to get new sheets for my bed.
Ooh. What kind of thread count are you going to get?
Big day.
What kind of thread count are you going to get?
Tell me what I should do. Because
I have no idea. My wife will come home. She goes, we got this kind of thread count. I'm like, I don't know what that is.
I don't know. The higher the thread count is, the better. And I only know that because they're more expensive.
And do you get like all cotton then? She goes, we can't have polyester. We got to have cotton. Okay. I don't care.
Dude, I'm too dumb. I'm too dumb when it comes
to
what
I hear you saying is if you're going to get new sheets, take Courtney with you. She will be able to tell you what sheets to get.
She's headed over to Iowa City today, so I can't. Yep, that's impossible. Maybe I just wait. Maybe I just keep the old sheets for another day. I mean, God, I've been using them for how long?
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find us all day long, all night long at therushradio.com or wherever you download your podcasts, because we'll be up shortly. We're back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Todd Stepsis, head coach of the Northern Iowa Panthers, scheduled to join us. Bruno will be with us as well. It is the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive. Bye-bye, everybody.
I'm loving these wooden nickels, Brian.
Yeah, I suppose everyone is catching on.
Just spend $20 to get a wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings on your next purchase.
Some of these are worth $5. That could be huge.
I know, right? That's why you have to spend $20.
It's $25.
Collect 10. It's like money back to you.
Spend 20, you get another wooden nickel.
It's $25.
Collect 10 and add up the savings. It's huge.
Central City Liquors, home of the 10% cash coupon.
And the Wooden Nickel program.
It's huge!
Hi, Nate Shoesmith with Willis Cadillac. I'm the newest addition to the team. Wanted to introduce myself and let you guys know what awesome deals we have on our EVs today. This month we have 2.9% up to 60 months on our Cadillac Optic, Lyric, and Vistic. For all you Escalade fans out there, we are happy to have 3 in stock right now available. We also have this beautiful blue 2026 CT5V, new for the year color. If you'd like to schedule a test drive, visit us at williscadillac.com or visit our showroom today.
'Tis the season to share great taste. Grab a refreshing Coca-Cola and make every moment a celebration. Locally made, nationally loved, Coca-Cola is the real deal when it comes to holiday cheer. Whether you're kicking back after the game or hosting the crew, nothing hits like that crisp, fizzy taste. Make this season yours. Grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola today.
After Hawkeye football games this fall, Travis and Ross are right where they belong, with you, taking your calls and giving unfiltered feedback. Right after Hawkeye football games, it's the Black and Gold Rush on the rushradio.com, the TuneIn app, and on YouTube.
Missing a quality, home-cooked meal? You know, the kind Mom used to make? Lucky for you, we found her recipe book. Welcome to the High Life. Welcome to the Champagne of Bars.
Every business has priorities, and Priority One Heating and Cooling is no different. As a service provider, we prioritize quality air conditioners and furnaces that will keep your home at your comfort level year-round. As a small business, we prioritize doing things the right way and treating people fairly. As a truly local business, we prioritize our community. As a veteran-owned business, we prioritize duty and commitment. For big business service with local value, trust your home to the place where you are always Priority One.
Back to the Rush. Strong opinions, weak filters, and just enough sense to stay on the air. It's the Rush Radio Show, powered by Willis Automotive.